Hi, this is Dave Donlin with Stock Investor Daily. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're doing a follow-up interview with Everett Dixon. He's the CEO of Aureus, Inc. Ticker symbol on the company, if you want to check it out, is ARSN. Now, the company's put out some recent news. We want to talk to him about it. Let's check it out right now. And welcome back once again here for our special interview today. It's a follow-up interview, actually, in fact, with the company called Aureus, Inc. Company is an emerging leader in the food brand development industry, which owns the Yingling's ice cream brand, including all intellectual property. Now, the company's focus is on acquiring specific assets in and related to the food industry, which we'll be talking about that today. The goal of Aureus in the operation to consolidate all factors that are positive for the Yingling brand into a synergistic success for Aureus shareholders, as well as the next generation of Yingling consumers. Company has been putting out some news recently. We want to talk about that. And with us is our special guest, the CEO of Aureus, Inc., Everett Dixon. Everett, welcome back. Glad to have you.
Thank you, David. Nice to be back again.
Absolutely. Great to speak with you again. You've been putting out some great news. Most recently, there's been some news out, which I think we want to really kind of expand on, talk about today. Tell us about the recent news. It's concerning the expansion into the fast-growing segment of the market.
Yeah, exactly. So as discussed, that is really our focus, is to identify what we believe as being fast expanding segments of the food market. In this particular instance, we've taken a hard look at these micro markets, and we can talk about those a little bit more, but they certainly seem to be, from our view, the wave of the future with respect to consumer retail and convenience store sort of formats, and they're certainly fast growing.
Yeah, it's really an interesting market. Once I did a little due diligence and some more research on it. Now, for our listeners that aren't familiar with the micro markets that we're talking about, it's actually in the retail sector, specifically the food industry, which is perfect for Aureus. And it's more of a convenience store kind of a feel, maybe a workroom, a work campus kind of a vibe, right?
Yeah, they've grown notoriety in some of the newer hotels. They're beginning to pop up in airports, but the biggest expansion has been in the break and lunchroom areas of companies that have 300 to 500 employees or more. And so this is displacing vending machines and other options that those companies had in there. And what it creates basically an opportunity for the customer and the employee in this instance to have a variety of food options, and basically with a self-serve checkout using technology. In most instances, it's a kiosk, but in the case of the Healthy Smart Marks, where the product that we're focusing on, it's actually an app-based payment system.
And we're actually putting up some pictures right now to show people what we're talking about on the micro market side. I'm sure there's a lot of people that are listening to us and actually watching what we're talking about and saying they absolutely identify with the micro markets sector. So it's fascinating as far as the sector growing by leaps and bounds. The particular news that you put out recently, Everett, how many did you purchase at this particular time? And just based off the purchase, your concept of it, and then moving forward, you think the company will expand its reach in this particular marketplace?
Yeah, I think so. So we came to an agreement to purchase an initial tranche of 20 to be launched in the Metro Atlanta market. But since we also have employees in the Yingling space in Pennsylvania, we're also looking at probably doing a quick launch of that Northwest Philadelphia market as well. So the 20 is the initial tranche. Our thinking and our goal by the end of the year, according to the PR, was to try to get 30 locations up by the end of the year.
And we're also, what I want to touch on with you too, if it's okay, is talking a little bit about any kind of initial revenue projections for ARSN regarding this recent purchase. Anything you're comfortable putting out there right now?
Well, before we delve into that, I would like to drive home one point. So the attraction to these for us is first, there's a healthy component to it. So, I mean, you can imagine that vending machines, for the most part, historically have been chips and candy bars, which we will offer those kind of products in these. But we can also offer the customers and the employees. We can offer them healthier snacks, fruits, and drinks that are on the healthier side. So that's important to us because we believe that there needs to be some healthier options out there, just sort of philosophically as a company. The other thing that I wanted to drive home was that the capex for purchasing these is very low on a per unit basis, which makes them attractive to us, and they're very scalable with a low employee count because of the technology that's used to check out each one of the purchases. So those were attractive features to us for the marketplace. So I just wanted to point that out, sort of, and drive that home. As an example, the first 20 that we bought, we should see the gear hit the ground out here in about 3 weeks. We think by mid-November we'll have at least 10 of those deployed, and possibly more than that. So they're low capex, they're low cost with respect to reoccurring employee costs, and they're very quick to deploy.
Yeah, great points that you're making there. And, people's lifestyle totally different than, say, 5, even 10 years ago. And this is really kind of building into that fast-paced mentality, but also giving them high-end quality food that they can access, like you said, as opposed to the typical vending machine type of food, snacks, that sort of things that they get. So that's great. As far as the company is right now on the Aureus side, you have the Yingling ice cream brand. Do you feel that this actually complements your existing acquisition of Yingling?
Well, I mean, there are certainly some opportunities to have some cross-selling in that, in the larger locations, which will target more of the 100 to 200 employees. There's some opportunities for us to put Yinglings in some of the coolers there and offer those as a snack. So there is some cross-selling, but more importantly, it stays within our focus sector.
Understood, Everett. Is Aureus targeting any other potential acquisitions before the end of 2020?
No, I think our focus is this for now, and we're really excited about it. And given the fact that the capex and the deployment is the capex is low and the deployment is so quick, we're going to have a pretty good sense of how far into this marketplace that we want to go by the end of the year, assuming it is as it appears to be. That this may become a large focus in Q1, Q2, and beyond for next year.
So, how do you think the company then is positioned with this particular acquisition and even the Yingling ice cream brand for the rest of 2020, and maybe if you're comfortable talking even into 2021?
Well, 2021 for sure. So I think we're in a pretty good position. We're finishing the corporate work that we've been working on, which we haven't talked about. But we're bringing the company back to current fully reporting, and so that process is beginning to accelerate, which is great, and so that puts us in a better position corporately, and then just generally from a funding standpoint, that we think that we're in a pretty good position to go through 2020 and then into the first couple of quarters of 2021 with the corporate work done. We can then finally utilize some of the traditional investment banking relationships that we've established. And particularly if this model works economically as it's projected to work, it won't be hard to attract traditional equity financing.
Everett Dixon is our guest. The company is Aureus Inc. Everett is the CEO of Aureus Inc. Aureus is an emerging leader in the food brand development industry. They also own the Yingling's ice cream brand, including all intellectual property. And now we are talking about the fact that they're now moving into micro markets. So great to have you on, Everett. As far as, I mean, and just to mention to people, the ticker symbol is ARSN, Aureus Inc. As far as any other information, maybe updates that you might be talking about on the micro market side, corporate website, any kind of social media you feel comfortable giving out to people where they could do some
Well,
more due
so
diligence?
we're actually building a website for the micro market side of the business, and we're looking at traditional um, restaurant spaces too. That's been a focus of ours is the quick serve restaurant space. Those that are focused on healthier foods because we think that's the fastest growing segment of that section of the food business that's not completely saturated. So, but COVID, of course, has created some challenges with respect to that, and it's created some opportunities. So we're still looking at that. The micro market for us is a variation on that. It's as I said, it's quicker to deploy. The capex is less. There's less employees, and so while we're going to focus on that initially, we're still not moving away from the QSRs.
Gotcha. So there will be an actual website for the micro market side of Aureus.
That's right. Yeah, they're actually being acquired through a subsidiary, a wholly owned subsidiary of Aureus, and they'll have their own website. And it particularly, and specifically, it's designed to attract additional locations.
Awesome. That's great news. And in the meantime, you do have a corporate site, which is ariusnow.com, where you talk about the Yingling ice cream brand, the company's mission. An overview of the company is available there on the corporate website as well.
Right, and once the acquisition is concluded and the subsidiary specific website is done, we'll do some work to the corporate website as well and link those two together so that they can see that more seamlessly.
Great, great. Everett, it's a pleasure to speak with you again and get an update on what's been going on with Aureus Inc. Again, our special guest today is Everett Dixon, CEO of Aureus Inc. The ticker symbol is ARSN. The website that we just mentioned is ariusnow.com. That information should be up on your screen. You can go check that out and find out more information if you're interested in Aureus Inc. Thank you for joining us again today here on Stock Investor Daily. My name's Dave Donlin. We'll be back again soon with another update from StockInvestorDaily.com.